Welcome back, YouTube. Today you are going to get to see what you need to be eating to get huge and strong. So I'm going to show you my pre, intra and post-workout meals, and I will go over what else you can actually do and give you different variations and ideas for the best pre, intra and post-workout nutrition to build max muscle. And this is a special ingredient, secret ingredient for my cream of rice concoction. I think first, what would be the best pre-workout meal that you should be eating around 60 to 90 minutes before training? When it comes to structuring your pre, intra and post-workout nutrition, it's extremely simple. Pick foods you know you can digest well, and pick foods that you also enjoy. Nutrition isn't rocket science. Yes, you do have to pay attention to the quality of nutrition, but there are so many different foods that you can choose from that will always meet both your macronutrient needs, your protein, carbs, and fats, and your micronutrient needs, which is the essential minerals, fiber, and all of the beauty and the wonderful things that real food can actually give you. My current pre-workout meal is 200 grams of prawns, super easy and light on the stomach, 160 grams of cream of rice, 30 grams of raisins, with 100 grams of pineapple. This pre-workout meal for me not only digests super easy, but it's something I enjoy. Generally, if you base your nutrition around foods you know you enjoy and you can digest well, that pretty much covers all bases for you. I do believe that there has to be an enjoyment factor within your nutrition, because if you are eating something you hate, I really don't think you will be able to even digest it well. If you are eating something you enjoy, on the other hand, I do think digestion will always be way, way better, because you will chew your food better, and digestive process actually starts in your mouth. It starts with the chewing process. Select foods you know you are going to actually chew instead of doing the usual bodybuilders habit of shoving the food in, getting a ton of water and just swallowing the food down. I promise you, that's not going to do you any favors when it comes to managing your digestion. If you're not a fan of prawns, you can have any other white meat source or white fish. Ideally, your pre-workout meal, I would always have a little bit less fats. Some people do need more fats to slow down the digestion if they notice a bit of a dip in energy within the workouts, but generally, in most cases, your pre-workout meal will always be lower in fats. Second option could be chicken, could be white fish, or could be even extremely lean steak if you can digest it well. However, I do not recommend red meat before training because it does tend to sit a little bit heavy on the stomach. Another fantastic option, which I do sometimes have, is Quality Whey ISO Pro. This one is by far one of the best proteins in the market. Not only has tremendous macros, but it's extremely low in fat, and digestibility of it is extremely high, which means you will have the ability to digest your food quickly, meaning that you will be able to train without food sitting heavy in your stomach. For me, at the moment, I am just having prawns for variety with my cream of rice. I do have some decaf coffee in it for taste. The only thing that's left to do is top this off with my cinnamon and then addition of my low salt for the day. Now, currently, I am just using low salt, 12 grams per day, with extra added potassium, which does work tremendously well for pumps in the off season and managing water retention from not having too much sodium and not enough potassium, so take note. So guys, final product now to finish this off is my pineapple and a little bit of blueberries from meal one. And this, guys and girls, is my pre-workout meal. I normally eat this around 90 minutes before I train, so a little bit later today than usual. Training time will be about 12:30. So this is my pre-workout concoction. As always, Digest Farmer Pro and Ensure before my meal. I do take this pretty much with every single meal, apart from my post-workout meal, because post-workout, generally you will not need GDAs. Your carbohydrate uptake will already be heightened from training. So I always favor using GDAs in my other meals across the day, especially in the off season. So, down the hatch, my friends. Let's see how the blood sugar is sitting before the meal. My meal 2 was 200 grams of chicken, 140 grams of raw weight rice, and 100 grams of pineapple with some veg. And that was around 2 hours ago. So let's see where we're at. 4.6, pretty perfect. Time to get some YouTube on and then eat the pre-meal.
Let's say you're about 7 feet, so I mean, yeah, I guess you're only jump over it. That's hard. Is it gotta be 2 hands or one? One. Okay. And today I want to show you
part 2 of the pre-workout meal. So 160 grams of white chocolate coconut cream of rice with 2 sachets of decaf coffee, and then we've got 30 grams of raisins inside. I actually cook the raisins with the cream of rice, and then we've got a pineapple. And what I normally do, this was supposed to be like 100 grams of pineapple and then 125 blueberries in my meal 1. I add a little bit of pineapple to meal 1 and take away some blueberries for this meal, just to give it a little bit of mix and match, right? So pineapple needs to be eaten first. And as always, we start with the protein first. Prawns go in, then the cream of rice. But we'll start with this.
We need to adjust, and we need to control it over time with our check-ins, and that's easily done on WhatsApp.
Pre-workout meal consumed. I think a lot of bodybuilders like to say consume, so I've got it in my head. Every time I actually speak about eating any meal, I cannot say anything else apart from consumed. So, pre-workout meal eaten, the most important part, which is the intra-workout drinks. If you are not using intra-workout, you are definitely potentially leaving some progress on the table, especially if your training sessions are longer and you are training hard. Even in the off season, I really do believe that you will benefit from using a quality intra-workout drink that generally will contain high quality carbohydrates, creatine, and glutamine. Now, having something like a quality EAA, or even better, MPS Max, which contains the highest quality protein you can get. It's an improved version of hydrolyzed whey, which is casein hydrolysate, I believe. Yep, hydrolyzed whey protein. So this has Pepto Pro, hydrolyzed whey, Pico 2, plenty of vitamins. So this is an extremely comprehensive formula when it comes to maximizing your actual EAA consumption, especially having Pepto Pro in this. I think when it comes to EAAs and general standard of EAAs, this is your pretty much S tier. If you are on a budget, just normal EAA will suffice. However, if your budget is a little bit larger, I would definitely recommend something like MPS Max. It's unmatched, the special ingredients it has. And again, this is all the patented ingredients it actually contains, which you do not get to see in many, many products, especially over in the States, but even in UK. So if you want the top quality, always shoot for MPS Max. Right, guys, first things first, we've got my water bottles, and when it comes to general distribution of fluid, I like to have at least 1.3 liters of water with my performance fuel. Now, performance fuel is by far one of the best intra-workout carbohydrates you can consume. Pure cyclic dextrin, and this has been a game changer for my training performance, both in the off season and especially in a contest prep setting where I am depleted in most cases, and I'm looking to optimize my training performance with the best quality intra-workout on the market. So guys, if you want the best, you've got to buy the best, and that's Trained by JP. At the moment, I am using 55 grams of performance fuel intra-workout. I will always start sipping on this pretty much as I start my session. Then what I actually do is I add in another 5 grams of pumpage in my intra. Again, pumpage is one of the best pump products on the market. So I do like to add in 4 grams into my intra and then actually have 21 grams in my pre. So I generally will eat my pre-workout meal around 10 to 11, and then I will actually drink my pumpage around an hour before with 350 mils of water and a little bit of coconut water for taste and extra potassium, which can actually help in hydration, especially with your pre-workout. My go-to is sour peach at the moment. This is definitely one of the best flavors. However, I am partial to blue sushi as well. Now, MPS Max is going to go in for a post-workout what I like to do is eat my pre 90 minutes before. My sessions normally last up to 2 hours. So I will always have my MPS max towards the back end of the session. This always covers me for quick and easy hit of protein that will digest extremely quickly without sitting in my gut. So that is always my go-to, and that is unrivaled when it comes to the quality, but most importantly, guys, and this is something I've mentioned with a pre-workout meal, digestibility, which is huge. It's such an important component of having any pre, or most importantly, intra-workout supplementation. Next, creatine. The most studied supplement of all time. New research supports higher doses of creatine. So for me, I actually like to use creatine both intra-workout, post-workout, and pre-workout. So at the moment, I am using 30 grams of creatine per day. And the way I like to split it is in 5-gram portions. So I will take in 5 grams of creatine fasted, 5 grams of creatine with meal 2, and then I will take in 7 grams in my pre, 7 grams in my intra, 5 grams in my post, and then 5 grams additionally pre-bed. The benefits that you will notice with your cognitive function and the benefits that you even notice with improvement in uptake of glycogen is huge. So if you are not using creatine, you are definitely leaving some marginal gains on the table. And if any of you value the 1% improvements, you should definitely consider not only reinvesting or investing into the quality intra-workout, but most importantly, investing into this. This is not only a product that's backed by science, but it's a product that I firmly believe in and I have had some major success with. So I highly recommend this. I do have my sodium for the day, so I will spread a little bit extra into my intra and into my pre. And then last but not least, guys, the final ingredient to go into my concoction of pre, intra, and post is a little bit of coconut water. So I have 100 mils into my pre and 100 mils added into my post. Now, how can you tell you've got a good quality intra? You shake it up like this and it mixes perfectly within seconds. If it's still clumpy, you probably need to invest in a different product. Right, guys, another ingredient that I need to mention that normally goes into my post-workout is magnesium. And I do actually have 2 caps of unwind. And the reason why only 2 caps is going to go into this drink is because I do take in dream sleep before bed as well. I generally have this around 2:30, so it would not make any sense for me to actually take in a higher dose of unwind closer to my dream sleep, because this already has quite a high dose of ashwagandha, and I think too much can actually cause some anxiety. So you do not want to overdose on ashwagandha or magnesium, as it can cause digestive issues. So only 2 caps of unwind in this and 3 caps of magnesium for my MPS max. And this will already shift gears into promoting recovery and start the process all over again of me being able to repeat progression in the gym, which is what counts and what matters the most. Right, guys, pumpage going down. It's 11:30 now, so around an hour before training, I always get this down. I will drink this, then I'm going to show you a second option of what you can be potentially eating for your pre-workout meal, and that's going to be Meg's pre-workout meal of choice. Option number 2 for pre-workout meal: prawns, rice, veg. Super simple. You do not need to overcomplicate your pre-workout nutrition. Key rules is this: digestibility, quality, and preference. Meg likes to rotate her protein between prawns, fish, seafood selection, or chicken. So she will normally get it ready for me in her bowl, and then I will cook it up on the pan for her, season it, make it with love so that she can enjoy it. She normally eats around an hour before training. Again, this meal digests super quickly and easily, so that she's able to train literally an hour after eating this and not have the food sitting heavy on her stomach. Where most people get it wrong is they very often opt for foods like oats, which are an amazing carbohydrate source, but oats do contain quite a lot of fiber and they will digest quite slow. So you do not really want something that will sit on your stomach or sit heavy pre-workout. You want something that will fuel your workout with an adequate amount of carbohydrates, but without too much fiber or fat that will then slow down the absorption of the food and digestion. If food is still sitting in your stomach whilst you train, a lot of the blood will be pulled into the stomach for digestion. This means that then you will not get a great pump and potentially you might not feel as comfortable in your sessions. So if that's you, you know the reason why that is happening, and now you can either eat earlier before the gym so that you've got a little bit more time to digest your food, or you can simply swap your foods or your pre-workout meal for something that will digest a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. So that is your option number 2 for your pre-workout meal. This is something that I actually use instead of using soy. Any of you that are using a lot of soy, I definitely do not recommend it. I'm not really convinced it digests all that well. So coconut aminos are an amazing alternative instead of soy, and they actually taste tremendous on your fish. So only a little bit gets added on top with some smoked paprika and then a little bit of water to moisten up the rice. And then you need to give it all a good stir. There we go. Session is wrapped up, so you know what time it is. Post-workout meal time, and I will have a few different variations of what I would normally have for my post-workout. Sometimes I will have whey isolate mixed with rice and fruit. Sometimes I will have white fish and just my normal sushi rice. So today I have 175 grams of raw whey sushi rice, 250 grams of cod, 40 grams of dates. Some days I will have 175 cream of rice with a mixture of blueberries and dates and whey isolate. So this meal does vary. However, the macros of this meal do not change, and the micronutrient density also does not change. And as I mentioned before, key is always selecting food sources that you know you can digest super fast and easily. For me, white fish digests incredibly well. So I can eat this direct after training. It's tasty. It's going to not only offer me the macronutrients that I need, but also filled with micronutrients from the fish, the dates, the rice, and a little bit of spring onion that's added in for a little bit of taste. Now, I do have a little bit of my low salt added into this as well. So this is a perfect post-workout meal. Second variation that you will get to see is Meg's post-workout meal at the moment. So stay tuned for that one. I will let the main lady give you an insight as to what she has for her post-workout nutrition to fuel her gains. Now, guys, anything that you need from Trained by JP, code Kuba10 is what you should be using to support me, support the channel, but also get yourself a decent discount on the best quality supplements in the entire world. Right, I'm going to chow into this because I'm not going to lie, I'm ready to eat. So let's see.
Yeah, go on.
So I've got a different option of post-workout. We've got cream of rice, berries and banana. I'm supposed to have my banana in the morning, but I always like it post-workout, so I just have it post-workout, and I've had it like that for 6 months, so we keep it nice and consistent. I always bring my little whey in a pot. There is Trained by JP whey isolate. It's the strawberry cheesecake flavour. I always go with the isolate, it just digests far better. I do have the digestions of a bull, but I do prefer a very the best quality protein sources that you could get, but I do like a sweet option. So today we are going for the whey isolate, and I will always make that into a little paste. If you do want to get discount off, you use Kuba10. We are on Kuba's channel, so we are going to use Kuba10. Just kidding, I was going to do it. But this is just another variation. Obviously, he has a sweet option pre-workout. I have a sweet option post-workout. I've always preferred that. I do find sometimes having a sweet option, sorry, a savoury option post-workout doesn't fill me as much. Being a hungry person as I am, I do prefer something that sits just a little bit nicer and more, you know, tingling of the taste buds post-workout. So that is my variety option. I have 100 grams of cream of rice in my post-workout bowl. There is 400 milliliters of water. That's like a 4-to-1 ratio, just in case somebody asks to cook it. We'll put it in the microwave for 2 minutes, stir it, put it in for a minute, stir it, put it in for a minute, stir it. That is simple as it is. And that's how you make a beautiful cream of rice bowl. If you do not like gritty texture or you don't like it, it's probably because you're making it wrong. So unless you just simply don't like it, which is fair enough, like people just don't like stuff. But if you like oats, if you like semolina, angel cake when you were younger, you will like cream of rice, but you need to cook it right. And it's simple. You can even boil the kettle and just whisk it up, or you can make it a bit more in the microwave, or you can put it on the pan. Either way, you're just not making it right. Bosh, post-workout bowl, get massive. That's the end of Kuba's video. Pre, post, workout, intra-workout, all that shajazz. If you want to get big, and if you actually do take your goals very seriously, as a competitive bodybuilder, I've gone to serious Megan now. We're calling it Megan because Meg is fun. Megan is not. So if you want to get big, if you want to recover well, you need to make sure that you have optimal nutrition pre, intra and post workout. Yes, we have used our options here from Trained by JP. We use it because it's great quality, not just because we get sponsored by them. We were using it far before we did get sponsored by them, so definitely utilize that. But regardless of whether you use those products or if you use something that is, you know, rice and chicken, something even, you know, cheap, etc., just make sure it's quality food. Make sure that you are fueling around your workout. It's not scrimping and scraping in terms of cost, but don't scrimp and scrape on your progression. Really make sure you're eating well, make sure that you are fueling well, make sure that you're thinking about when you're having your protein servings and how much you're supposed to be having, because if you are not focusing on it, then you're missing out on progression. And people might think, oh, it's a laugh, we can have this here and that there, and haha, it's funny when we're in the gym. If you want to get massive and you want to be a good bodybuilder, you need to be serious, and someone needs to tell you that with the nicest tone, because maybe I'm nice but not nice. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Get massive, stay happy, and do it because you love it, not because of anything else.